how to pick the right martial arts academy for you. I'm gonna give you guys my method and a bunch of criteria that you guys can go through to help yourself select the perfect martial arts training program for you. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the S2 Strategic Defense channel. My name is Nick, and in today's video, we're gonna be talking about what it takes to find the right martial arts academy for you. Now, I constantly get questions from people on social media or email or text messages, phone calls, these kinds of things, asking me, hey Nick, how do I find this? Hey Nick, what do you think about that? Hey Nick, how'd you pick this? How'd you pick that? That kind of a thing. And that tells me two different things. One, it tells me that there's a lot of information out there and people don't have a method to navigate through that. I'm gonna show you guys that in this video. And number two is that they might already be involved in the martial arts, but they're not enjoying their experience, and so they're second guessing a lot of things. And that's because they're probably not at the right academy. Let's resolve that. I need you guys to be involved with the martial arts community, enjoy your lifestyle here, make that really your own thing. That's how the martial arts continues. If that starts to die off, then I feel that's a pinnacle in the community that's also dying off, okay? So I wanna give you guys a methodology, a criteria to get through all of that information and make sure that you're in the right place. By the way, guys, do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, turn on the notifications bell, get in the comments section, let me know how you picked your academy, or if you haven't started, if this video helps you out in some regard. A real quick background for you guys before we get started. Picking martial arts academies is not something new for me. I started off as a young boy in martial arts and just fell in love with it, and it's been a part of my life ever since then. And it's given me values that apply on a day in, day out basis for me to this day. Okay, 1999, I started to teach as an assistant instructor at another gentleman's gym. By 2000, I was running classes on my own. By 2003, I was running an entire location for him. 2007, I opened my first academy. 2009, I opened my second academy. 2010, I opened my third academy. 2013, I opened my fourth academy. This is all in Chicagoland when I still lived out there. By 2013, I had already been published in several magazines dozens of times. I've gotten a bunch of awards. I have an upcoming book coming up on the martial arts business. I've trained law enforcement. I've trained corporate safety teams. I've taught seminars internationally, probably about 240, 250. When I closed my academies to move to Texas, I still teach. I still teach law enforcement agencies. I still do corporate safety programs. I still teach seminars at different martial arts academies and such. This is not something that's new to me. And what that experience kind of tells me is a few different things. Number one, it gives me a bunch of perspectives. It gives me perspectives as a student, right? The first sign on and going to different schools and different arts and different places and seeing a bunch of different things. Number two, it gives me perspective as a business owner, as an academy owner and an instructor, right? And then number three, it gives me perspective as somebody who's helped other students find the right academies for themselves. So I got a whole bunch of perspectives that kind of all boil down to the method that I'm about to show you guys in this video. This is important. Now, there's a lot of people who make videos on the same exact subject and they'll be like, oh yeah, just talk to the instructor and see if he's certified and what lineage does he come from. You don't care about what lineage he comes from. Not at first anyways, okay? I'm gonna give you guys a proper method to follow. So step number one in my methodology for picking the right martial arts academy is getting online and doing a search and setting a radius for about 8 to 12 miles. Now, why 8 to 12 miles? Well, anything past 8 to 12 miles really becomes kind of a specialty kind of a deal. Most people are looking for a martial arts academy that close to home or close to work, but in between work and home, right? They want to get to it conveniently, leave conveniently, and still have a life. Maybe you have kids and a family, that kind of a thing. So you're gonna, get up in the morning, go to work, on your way home from work, hit the academy, get your workout on, and then head home, grab dinner, put the kids to sleep, that kind of a thing. Or, you just want to close to home, maybe you work from home, you just want to run out, do your classes, come on back. Now, I had people in my academies that were driving 25, 30 miles, no problem, but that was after a long time of relationship building, right? They trusted me, they wanted to stick around with me. I was teaching a very particular thing that you couldn't find in a lot of places anyways. And so that kind of gave me kind of a niche market. But for the most part, the average everyday person wants to be about 8 to 12 miles from a particular location and keep their travels convenient. By the way, if it's not convenient, you'll stop going and then you're gonna be like, oh man, what a waste of money, okay? So step number 1, get online, pick your address, pick a radius of 8 to 12 miles and pull up a Google search for what's there and take all that information and stick it onto a spreadsheet. Step number 2 is to identify your goal. What's your purpose? Why do you want to go to the martial arts academy? There's different types of martial arts and they all suit different people. Let me give you an example of this real quick. If you're looking to compete, right, you might be looking for like a competition-based jiu-jitsu academy or maybe a mixed martial arts academy. That's what you want to get into. You're 25 years old, your body's still, good to go, and that's what you want to try. Cool, nothing wrong with it. Or maybe you have kids and you just want to go to a class and have an activity with your young dragons and just be a part of that. Or maybe you're trying to learn how to protect yourself, right? Maybe something spooked you at work or something you saw on TV made you conscious about something and you're like, yeah, man, I got to up my self-preservation game. Or maybe you're just looking to get into shape. All those are different, okay? And if you just want to have some fun with your kids, right? An activity to do with your little ones, and you go into a full contact mixed martial arts academy, you will not be happy with your money, not after day 2, okay? So I'm telling you, you need to know your goal. And so when you have a goal and you go back to step 1 and you could start taking a look at all of that list, you will eliminate probably half to 80% of that list right off the top, okay? A lot of stuff's just not gonna fit you. Now make sure that when you go on those, you check out the websites, see what kind of class offerings they have. Don't be fooled by the website only, but just get as much information as you possibly can from there and then compare that to your goals. That's important. The third thing that I want you to do is go to these websites, take a look around. Most places will have a class schedule online, and if they don't, contact them. Like literally pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, what's you guys' weekly class schedule? All right? Here's why this is so important. Let's just say that you have a class that you're super interested in that runs Monday and Wednesday, okay? But you can only make it on Tuesday and Saturday due to work and other family obligations. Now, maybe you can rearrange a couple things, but if you can't make the classes consistently and now you're stuck with a class that you don't want to be in, that's not the right location for you, okay? The second thing that you should ask them is, how long has that schedule been running? I've seen plenty of martial arts schools that they have a schedule this month and then you go back and then the schedule is completely different and half the people are pissed off because they built a life schedule around their martial arts academy and now the martial arts academy just, threw a wrench in the plans and suddenly they can't make it to class anyways, they'll drop out and go somewhere else, okay? So ask them, what's the weekly schedule? Then ask them, how long has it been that way? Now we're at step number 4. You get a chance to go to the places, right? Now, most martial arts academies will offer some kind of a promotional value type of a deal, meaning free class or free week or free month, that kind of a thing. Go sign up for that, right? Go to a couple classes, go check the facility out because that's where you're gonna get some real intel. But what you really want to do is when you get there, you want to make sure that you ask them up front, be like, hey, listen, just be transparent with me. What do you guys offer as far as classes? What do you guys offer as far as pricing? Is there a contract that I'm bound down to? How do you get out of the contract? Do the class schedules change all the time? What's your class size? These kinds of things, okay? This is really important because a lot of times the promotional value obviously gets you in the door and maybe even their monthly package or their annual package works for you. Maybe it's perfectly fine. But you have to sign a 3-year contract or a 5-year contract or you have to pay it all up front. That's kind of gimmicky in my opinion. That's not a reason to completely leave, but it certainly puts up a lot of red flags. In my academies, I did a month-to-month payment kind of a deal, and there's a contract saying that, hey, you're gonna pay me every month on so-and-so date, we're gonna auto draft your account. What I didn't do was make somebody sign their life away and we have a 25-year relationship of you paying me, and even if you're not ready to come to class, right? So you got to be careful of that particular gimmick, but you want to know those terms right up front, and the only way you're going to find that out is actually at the trial. So let's combine steps 5 and 6. Step 5 is observation. I need you to observe for yourself. Is this a clean facility? Is it well lit? Is it a safe area? Was the commute pretty easy? Do I feel welcomed here? Do people seem nice? Does the equipment seem well taken care of? Do the mats look like they're cleaned up every night? That kind of a thing, right? I want you to kind of see or envision to see if you fit into this place 2 to 3 times a week. If you can't see yourself being there that often, that's already a red flag, right? Okay. Step number 6 is talk to the other students, okay? Now, there's 3 particular questions I want you to ask them. First question is, why this place, right? There's plenty of places out there. You could be open and honest with them and be like, hey, I'm just checking a couple places out. What brought you here? Like, what's specifically here? And let them tell you. Now, if they say something like, well, that's my brother's place, well, you know that that's not really a good feedback. What you need to hear is other people saying, hey, it was close to home, I like the hours, the classes were this, or I used to go to some other place, now I came here, fell in love, that kind of a thing. So ask them what brought them there. The second thing is, what was their goal? So were you trying this place out because you wanted to fight? Or, hey, were you just trying to get in shape? And how'd that work out for you, right? And let them tell you about that experience, okay? And then the third question I want you to ask them is this. So how long have you been training here? That tells you a lot. If it's somebody else that's new, right? The place still has that new car smell. If they've been there for 2 weeks, let's just say, they don't know. Find me somebody who's been like, I've been training here for 7 years, right? A lot of my old students were with me for 10, 12 years, let alone just a few months, right? So what kind of loyalty, what kind of package is this facility and that instructor building? So these things are super important in making a qualified decision, right? So now we're at step number 7, okay? This one's important that you do a couple days after the trial, not right after it, okay? Wait a couple days, let the emotions kind of settle in, think about it, replay that in your head a couple times. The question is confidence. How confident are you that that instructor or that facility is going to help you meet your goals? That's what you're looking for, okay? Did they not push you hard enough? Let's just say you want to get in shape. Did they push you hard enough where you're busting a sweat, you're like, man, I love this? Or did you go in there for fitness and instead they put you in a class with a bunch of 9-year-olds? These are things that you need to know, right? And so how confident are you that the goals that you identified in step number 2 are going to come to fruition, right? You did a trial over there. You got to see the facility. You talked to the people. You got the schedule. You got the pricing. You know their terms. Everything's all good. How confident are you that that facility is going to help you reach your goals? And now we are at step number 8. This is the last step before I show you guys the actual formula to help you make selection, okay? Step number 8 is online reviews. Now, I didn't do this in the beginning for a reason. The problem with it is any kind of a business that's dealt with enough people is going to have negative reviews. Think about going on Amazon and buying something, right? You might buy something and you love it, it's the perfect price, it showed up, it's a prime delivery, it showed up before 6 p.m. or whatever, and it worked out just fine for you. If you go back into reviews, you're certainly gonna find a few people that were pissed off at the quality or showed up late or any of that kind of stuff. You deal with enough people, you're gonna have negative reviews. When people see negative reviews without having a personal experience, they only go by the review, right? The review can raise some red flags for you, but it should not stop you dead cold from doing business with that person. Give them an opportunity to earn your business. That's my opinion, okay? So that being said, you do a little bit of review, see what students, now I'm not talking about the testimonials that are on the website. They put it on their website because it was a stellar testimonial. But when you have a little bit of anonymity, like Google reviews or Yelp or something like that, people tend to be a little bit more honest, okay? So go in there and read those just to have a basic idea. What you're really looking for is major red flags. Red flags is something that got repeated over and over, review to review, and it might be something like, that dude put me in a contract. When I stopped going, I had to pay for another 3 years every single month. If not, I had collections coming after my credit. That's a problem, right? Okay, so you want to take a look and see what kind of reviews and what kind of feedback people are giving you. It's just like talking to the students after class, except now it's just a little bit on a longer scale. All right, guys, now it's time to make selection, okay? So what I want you to do is grab a piece of paper, a spreadsheet, something that you can actually make notes on and visually see, okay? So let me show you guys this little chart real fast that I made for you guys. I want you to make the same thing. It's gonna have two columns. In those two columns, the left column is gonna say criteria, right column is gonna say score. The left column is gonna have the 8 things that we discussed, right? Distance, purpose, schedule, budget, cost, and terms, your trial experience, student feedback, confidence that they can get you where you want to be, and then Google reviews. So you got these 8 things that we talked about, right? So once you have these in a chart, you're going to give each of these a score 1 to 5. 5 being stellar, 1 being red flag, run the other way, okay? So think about it deeply for a little bit. Hey, do I really feel confident that they're going to, get me to my goal? Or, hey, was the student feedback really good? Really think about what you're writing down here. These scores are gonna matter, okay? So 1 to 5 for each of these. Now, if you stick to just these 8, the total possible points that you can have is 40. You're gonna take every place that you went to, and you're gonna do the same chart and give it its own score. Once you do that, some places are gonna pretty much like really make you think and be like, I don't think so. There's a magic number. The magic number is 32 out of 40, or 80%. Think about what 80% means. 80% is a B minus, right? Anything below that is a C or almost non-existent. You need to have a B or better, all right? So once you guys have 32 out of 40, now you can take a look at a bunch of these places, and they're just not gonna be on the list anymore. They're gonna be like a 21 or 25 or whatever. The places that are ranked in your top 1 and top 2, meaning it's a 40 out of 40 and then a 38 out of 40. The thing that makes the difference between those typically is going to be something like distance, one's a couple miles further, or it's gonna be a few bucks a month on the month-to-month expense, right? These are the things that kind of knock these things off the boat. That's a personal choice now. Are you okay? I want the best place I found, but I gotta drive 4 miles more, okay? Or am I closer to home? I'll be done a little bit faster. That 5-10 minutes that I save in commute, that's 5-10 minutes I can spend, at home with my kids or any of that kind of stuff. I'll take second place. All right, guys, that is how you make selection for the best martial arts academy for you. You need to have some criteria. That criteria needs to have a methodology. That methodology needs to help disqualify and get stuff off of the list. And then you could take your personal preferences and apply that, and then down to 1 or 2 places, and then hopefully find the right place for you. My goal with this video is for you guys to enter the Martial Arts Academy for a place that compels you to keep coming back, and then the martial arts becomes a part of your lifestyle. It's not just something you do, it really just kind of becomes a part of who you are, okay? Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Please do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, get down in the comments section. Let me know if you guys learned something from this video. Do you guys like my methodology? How did you pick the place that you're at if you're already at one? All right, guys, be safe, be well. You know the saying, keep your blade sharp, keep your skills sharper, and I will see you next time.